you know what, considering how quickly we organized this, I think it was a pretty good start. So I would just like to say, I'm Nora Duncan. I am the state director for AARP here in Connecticut. And the governor asked me to moderate this panel for him on the COVID-19 vaccine rollout. We are happy to have people join us on Facebook and on the Zoom link that was sent out. And we've got a bunch of questions. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to the governor to do an introduction, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, Nora, thank you very much. And I see Danny Medras over there, CSEA, SEIU. We've just begun to fight, Danny. We've just begun to fight back this virus. It hit our state a little over a year ago, and this is our fight back. And I'm here with Josh Jabal, who maybe you know is Chief Operating Officer, been sort of generalissimo of our attack here, with Deirdre Gifford, who runs public health and is really leading our medical response to everything we got to do. And I just really wanted, Nora, just to take 3 minutes to give you an update on why this is so important. We're beginning to win this battle, and we're beginning to win this battle because of you. Beginning to win this battle because people in Connecticut are more likely to be wearing the mask and social distancing and taking this seriously, and the vaccine. We are rolling out the vaccine very aggressively, more likely than just about any state to have people getting vaccinated, a higher percentage. But vaccines are safe and effective, but they only work if you get the shot. As you probably know, we focus primarily, first off, on nursing homes and healthcare providers. And in the nursing homes, everybody's been vaccinated there almost, and with their first and second dose. And the number of infections, the number of hospitalizations, the number of fatalities has gone down dramatically. It's just a reminder that the vaccines work. We went from there, of course, alongside to the hospitals, our frontline healthcare workers, doing everything we could to keep them safe so we could keep our hospitals open. And as you know, we're rolling out aggressively for our schools and everybody who works at the school, from teachers to janitors to food service workers, doing everything you can to keep our schools open as well. But our biggest priority is really focused on the folks who are most vulnerable. And that's why we focused on age. And that's why I really wanted to talk to each and every one of you, AARP and CSEA, SEIU, and a lot of retirees. We have found, and we know, that folks over the age of 75, the first group we prioritized, over half of our complications and fatalities were related to this group. And well over 70% of you have been vaccinated, and there's still time to get vaccinated. From there, we moved to folks 65 and above, my age category. I got my shot about a week ago now. And I urge you to take advantage of this, the slot, because we're still in this line. And for another 3 days before we open it up to those 55 and over, you can get that vaccine. And there are spots open. There are appointments to be made. And I don't want you to, waste your shot. We've got more and more vaccines coming, but we still don't have enough vaccines. That's why I can't vaccinate everybody that wants to get vaccinated. But the people on this call are our priorities right now, especially 65 and above. We've gotten that extra doses, in particular for our pharmacies, Walgreens and CVS. Josh recently contacted them, and they have extra appointments, and they have doses right now available to each and every one of you, 65 and over, that want to get vaccinated. I urge you to go to ct.gov/COVID vaccine, ct.gov/COVID vaccine. And if that's too complicated, dial 877-918-2224. That's 877-918-2224. They're open from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening. You can call right now. They will direct you to the place that's the best location. You'll be able to see which are the Walgreens, which are the CVSs, which of the federally qualified health centers are closest to you. We could also get you set up in some of our mass vaccination centers. You probably know we have it at Rensselaer Field and the Civic Center. We have it at University of Bridgeport. We have it at Hill House High School. We have it at Mohegan Sun in Southeast Connecticut. So this is our opportunity to make sure you take full advantage of the opportunity to get vaccinated and get vaccinated, now. And I'll tell you, we've prioritized this age group, 65 and above and 55 and above, because this is the group, as I said, who are the most vulnerable. We are the group most vulnerable. We are the group that are much more likely, to suffer complications, and much more likely to suffer complications because we're much more likely to have what they call comorbidities, other issues, be it diabetes, be it heart, be it cancer, be it obesity. And that's why when we prioritize these populations 65 and above, and on Monday, 55 and above, we're taking care of the predominant groups that have the comorbidities as well. And I just leave you with one other thought. As we've been navigating our way through this, I know many of you have kids who are out there working, wondering when will they get that opportunity to get vaccinated. And many of them are frontline workers, interfacing with the public every day. Maybe they're working at a restaurant, for example, or in other type of facilities. And I just want you to know that vaccinating you means they can go home and they can go home and see you safely. Many folks live in multi-generational housing. Many of you live with somebody in the food service business or restaurant business, your kids. And this is why it's very important for them as well that you be vaccinated. And I want your kids to know, and your grandkids, that they are going to be getting vaccinated on a really clear schedule. As you know, March 1st is 55 and above, March 22nd, 45 and above, April 12th, 35 and above, and virtually everybody else adult above after May 3rd. It's a promise that we hope to be able to keep. It's subject to our getting the vaccines delivered on time. It's subject to not having a lot of big snowstorms. But Deirdre and Josh feel pretty comfortable. We've been able to keep our commitments so far and keep our commitments to you and then your kids and grandkids when their time comes. But I just want to leave you with a message and then open it up to Josh and Deirdre and any questions you have. This only works if you take the shot in the arm. You've got a few more days where, for those of you 65 and over, take advantage of this. Get your appointment while you have appointments available right now. It will probably get a little more crowded on Monday when 55 and above. So, seize this opportunity. With that, Deirdre or Josh, would you like to set the table in any way or just take questions?
I think you said it exceptionally well, Governor. Maybe we just dive right into questions. What do you think, Nora?
I think unless the commissioner has any comments, I think we could do that. And I do just want to make everybody aware that Wynn Heimer and Bill Bueller are here with us from CSEA as well, so we can get questions in for them. But Commissioner, before I dive in.
Let's jump right into questions. So we hear the answers to what here.
So I'm going to take a little bit of opportunity to just say a few things from the perspective of AARP Connecticut. We have about 600,000 members here in Connecticut, many of which overlap with the members of CSEA that Wynn and Bill represent. And I was on the Reopen Connecticut subcommittee with you, Commissioner, until you were elevated to your new role with public health. And I just want to say that I know this has been a long, arduous road for everyone. And even when I have been critical of the Department of Public Health or the governor's decisions, you guys have been super responsive and I appreciate it. And I just want to acknowledge how tired you all must be. And so thank you. Thank you for working with us and with everybody else. And just good job trying to keep the state safe, and to Paul and everybody else who does this every single day. I think I would like to jump in. So we took some questions off of the internet that were sent in today. And I think I'm going to go with a couple just right off the bat. and maybe I'll put some of my own spin on it from things I know. So one question, I've been hearing from local health departments and senior centers that they might be doing a better job at the smaller vaccine level, so that, not everybody can go to a mass vaccine site, as we know. We have people who are truly homebound, and we have people who, even if they're not homebound, maybe, they're not comfortable driving to one of the mass vaccine sites. So the local health departments have been doing some really good work. Is it possible to be able to keep the small level vaccines for older individuals in towns at a level where there's a percentage that's being held for those hard to reach populations, for the homebound? I know that there has been a concern that in small towns, especially, they don't have the personnel. So the health department may have, one nurse for the town, and it's the school nurse, and it's the nurse that is serving the senior centers right now. And teachers may be getting prioritized over some of those hard to reach folks, especially 75 and up and 65 and up. And I guess I would say to you, what's your thought on holding a percentage of the vaccines aside for those local health departments to make their own decisions with older adults?
How about our head of public health?
All right, I'll take that one. Thanks, Nora, and happy to be here. Absolutely, I think, in fact, I just got off a call with local and municipal leaders where we were talking about this very issue, and what we're trying really hard to do with our vaccinating partners at the Department of Public Health is make sure that the vaccine distribution goes to all different types of providers, because we know that not everybody can get out to a mass vaccination site. And some people are going to be more comfortable in their own municipality, and they're going to be more comfortable with a familiar set of surroundings. At the same time, as the governor mentioned, we don't have enough vaccine right now to give everyone as much as they'd like. So we're doing our very best to work with local health departments to say, where do you best fit in this system that we're setting up? And where in particular, where are the gaps? And you mentioned homebound, and that's a really important population. Our congregate settings are another important population. We have a member of our team who is working specifically with vaccinators and local health departments to make matches between vaccinating partners, congregate settings, and homebound individuals to make sure that we don't leave any gaps. And people who have a car, are able to drive, can go to these mass vaccination sites, go to a pharmacy. So we're encouraging people to use all those different avenues to get the soonest available appointment.
I have a question. You can hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
What are you doing to chase after the people that should have received a vaccination by this time? For some reason that they didn't go get an appointment, or they're afraid to take the vaccine. What are you doing to go make sure that they get served?
Well, I'll start. There's two groups. I mean, one, when it comes to, I got the worried, well, a lot of people are desperate to get the vaccine and are lined up on their iPad the second it's available to their age group. And there are a lot of people who are hesitant. So we've worked very hard, especially in underserved populations, Bill, Black and brown populations, getting the vaccine to them, working with ministers, working with trusted advocates who can talk to people and say, this is the right thing to do. And it's a safe thing to do, and it's effective. And it's taking a little bit of time. I mean, the first time we went through the nursing homes, Bill, the nurses, maybe only 30 or 40% wanted to get vaccinated. But we went back 3 weeks later and another 30 or 40% came. For the folks on this call, this is why we're doing this call. I want you to talk to your friends. I want CSEA and SEIU and AARP. I want you to reach out. I want them to know that for at least another 3 days, you're at the front of the line. You can get vaccinations. There are appointments available for you at, say, CVS and Walgreens and these other facilities. And I need trusted advocates to talk to people and say it's safe and effective. That's why we're doing this. And I hope this streams far and wide.
Governor, so that will lead me into a question. I think it's super important, and I was able to have Dr. Edie on a telephone town hall yesterday, and I took my own liberty to say what he was saying as well, and to reemphasize, if you are age 65 plus and you were hesitant about getting the vaccine, but you're thinking now you want it, you need to book now, because you're going to be in competition with a much larger pool. And as you all have said over and over and over again, every time a new group is allowed in, 211, they all get backed up. VAM's slow. So we don't want that. We want you to act now. But I want to, for clarity, one of the questions that came in is, can people age 55 to 64 set up their VAM's account prior to March 1 in preparation for making their upcoming appointment? So can I do my pre-work so that come March 1, I'm, ready to rock and roll and get jab to the arm, as you say?
I don't think so, Josh.
Well, you can, there's the form to apply for access to VAMs on the state website. You can submit your application, but you won't get inputted into VAMs, and you won't have the ability to book an appointment until March 1st if you're 55 to 64. So there's a little bit of pre-work. That takes about 10 seconds. So it's not going to get you too far ahead in the process, but it is possible.
Nora, can I ask a question?
Yes, you can, Wynn. Good to see you here.
Governor, thank you for doing this. Always a pleasure to see you down the street here. I'm fortunate because I am of a certain age and I was able to get both of my shots taken care of. But I want to know, how do you address people like the Connecticut bus driver or the grocery store clerk, or a young person with possibly a heart condition or whatever, who had been led to believe that they were going to be vaccinated at this point and now suddenly find that they're in a different situation? How do you respond to them?
Yeah, I'll start, Wynn, and I recognize the rose garden there at Elizabeth Park behind you. It's, I love that. Look, the CDC came up with a list of folks, essential workers, comorbidities, and it represented almost half our adult population. And we could have said everybody is a priority there, including the groups that you just mentioned. And many other states have done that, Wynn. Many have said, first come, first serve, first guy to the door wins. And you saw websites crashing and long lines in Florida and nothing at the end of that line. We just thought that was not the appropriate way to go. And by the way, even if you are on that list in, say, New York, it's going to take you 2 months before you can get that appointment. So to those folks who you just mentioned, who obviously are younger than, say, 55 and have to wait a little bit longer, I would say this is a way that we can prioritize those who are most at risk. And for those of you who are bus drivers, maybe you're coming home and you have a grandparent who you want to see. Thank God he or she is safe. And your time is going to come within probably 3 weeks or 6 weeks.
Thank you, Governor. I'm gonna ask a question from, I think this one might be from Twitter. I'm a Yukon Health patient, and can you explain why they've stopped scheduling appointments for vaccines? I wasn't aware that they had, so I'm interested in this answer too. Maybe they really haven't. Maybe it's, bad info, but.
I can take a stab at that, Governor, if you want.
Please.
So this is not a permanent change. What we've been doing with some of our providers is some of them had to catch up on second doses. And I think that might be one of your questions tonight too, is about catching up on second doses. And some of them had some delays around the storm and cancellations that they were catching up on. So they may just be in the process of making sure that everyone who's gotten their first dose is getting their second dose. And then when they know what their allocation is going to be for the next couple of weeks, they'll start opening up appointments again. But they're not permanently out of the game.
Okay, so yeah, we know it's very important to be able to get that second vaccine. luckily I've got the bunch of 65 and 75 plus in my family who are just getting their second vaccine. So that makes a lot of sense, and it's not a permanent issue. I think, Commissioner, you sort of addressed this, but I'm going to ask a really direct question that's coming in to me on my cell phone right now. Is there any expectation that local public health districts will postpone 65 plus clinics in order to shift to teachers come March 1st? Or is this really a shared road?
Go ahead, Josh, you've been shy.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to vary a lot from town to town. Our team is playing every day a very complex logistics challenge about making sure we've got coverage in all parts of the state. And now, as we look to support our school districts and their efforts to scale up clinics in the coming weeks, there will be some towns, I think, where local health may direct its focus to help with that effort. But when we're doing that, we're making sure that in those areas, there's other providers who are available for people to continue their vaccination programs. As the governor mentioned earlier, the pharmacies got double the allocation from the federal government this week, and that's going to continue. So there's a lot of additional pharmacy slots that have opened up. A number of our other providers are continuing to scale up as well. So it may change a little bit town to town in terms of the makeup of what the provider base looks like, but we're making sure at each step as we take on the school vaccination programs that people still have access.
Yeah, because I'm hearing too from there's some towns where the 75 and up population really hasn't gotten their vaccine at the same percentage as other towns, as the governor knows. So, obviously, I think from the perspective of this call, obviously the governor's point, sign up now, but then there are so many who aren't going to. And I know we really prioritize age 50 plus in this because, as the governor said, there is one really big determining factor of being very ill and dying from COVID-19, and it is age. And so we just want to make sure people aren't accidentally left behind as we progress, but we understand that speed is of the essence. I'm monitoring my chat here. How will teachers or paras actually know when it is their turn if there's some of this level of confusion still? I mean, it's all working through the local municipalities? I mean, I know they know that March 1st, but there's some still confusion out there about my town, my turn.
Yeah. So anyone who is going to become eligible as a result of their employment in one of our schools or as a childcare provider, they should wait to hear from their employer. So, either the school district or, whoever their employer may be. Right now, our superintendents and our local health departments and our other providers are working around the clock off of the announcement on Monday to get their clinics organized and set up in the coming weeks. And not all of those will happen next week, of course. This is going to happen across the month of March as people get organized. And of course, we have our vaccine allocation, which, as the governor pointed out, is less than we could do all at once. So we're going to have to work our way through that. So people can start to hear from their employer over the coming days and weeks. And as is always the case, anytime we enter a new phase, some patience is definitely going to be required.
Yes, which is something we're all a little short of, right, during this pandemic. Another question, this one's really a health question, I think. The question is, I get my second dose of Pfizer vaccine on Friday. Does the Pfizer vaccine protect against the other strains and variants that we've been seeing pop up in Connecticut and across the world?
Deirdre, you want that?
Yes. Yeah, good news about both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. They seem to be effective against the variants. And so about 2 weeks after the second dose, that's when individuals have their maximum protection. So we're watching the variants, and the vaccine manufacturers are watching the variants and are getting prepared to modify the vaccines should that become necessary, and they have the technology to do that. But right now it appears that both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are effective against the variants that are circulating in our state and in the United States for the most part.
Hey, can I just add on that one, Nora, that Deirdre's absolutely right. You got Pfizer, you got Moderna, and very soon it looks like we're going to have a Johnson & Johnson. And don't get fussy about which brand of vaccine you got. They are all incredibly effective, much more effective than we had anticipated. And I think that's important. No brand shopping.
Great. Good. That's good advice as well. We're not going to, don't delay your appointment because you're waiting for one thing over another. Let me see now, Wynn or Bill, do you have any additional questions for the governor or the commissioner or Josh? I always feel bad just saying Josh, but we need a title for you, Josh.
I have one. It came to mind. I just wanted to ask, what about the prison population?
Yeah, absolutely. We are under the leadership of Commissioner Quiros. We have been working our way through the prison population. As you may be aware, it sounds like we included congregate settings at the beginning of phase 1B as being eligible, including our correctional facilities, as well as other congregate settings around the state. And the teams have been out working their way through those. We've made it around the prisons now for both first dose clinics for all of our correctional officers, and also for all of our incarcerated persons who are 65 and above. And they're going to keep marching forward and not stop until everyone has an opportunity to receive vaccine.
Great. And then Wynn, do you have anything else that you want to ask, or do you want to share what you're hearing from your constituencies?
I'm good right now. I mean, people are going ahead, and people in our age group are certainly taking advantage of the vaccines and making their appointments. So we're good to go. That's all I have.
Good to go is good with all of everybody, I'm sure. Okay, so a lot of people have my cell phone number, and so I just got another question, which I'm gonna read. This is an interesting one. Some people are getting vaccines by showing up at the end of the day, so vaccines don't go to waste, regardless of age, or at least this is what someone's hearing. And as a 64, 8-month-old, should I try this tactic? And is there a responsibility by the provider to ensure I get my second vaccine in a timely fashion? I've definitely heard about this in other states. I don't think I've heard too much about it here, but what is the thought process there?
I can take that one. So we have been asking our providers to use all the doses that they receive within 7 to 9 days of receiving them, and to never let a dose go to waste. And so, the governor has been clear that it's preferable to vaccinate someone who might be out of phase than to throw a dose of these precious vaccines into the trash. That being said, we're really discouraging providers from encouraging this kind of, standing room only waiting list at the end of the day. What we've told them is try not to open any vials unless you know you have enough people in your waiting room to actually give all the vaccine. But if you do have a few doses left over, try to find somebody that's currently eligible. And if you can't, then work your way back. It's a little bit clearer now since the governor's announcement on Monday, because people know they can just work backwards by age. But there are some providers who've been, at the end of the day, if they have some extra doses, they have been dispensing them as we have advised. But as you indicated, Nora, I don't think it's a widespread practice. And I would encourage people very much to go through the regular appointment process. Like the governor said, there's no waiting on the access line right now, and they have appointments available. So you don't need to do the standby ticket. You can get a regular appointment.
Great. That's great. And I'll go with one last question here, and I think we're going to need to wrap it up so folks can make some closing remarks if they want. Do you know how booster shots, if there's such a thing, are going to be handled as we get into the fall and winter of 2021? And I assume beyond.
Keep going, Deirdre.
Not yet. The science is still evolving, and it's I marvel every day that less than a year into this pandemic, we've got a vaccine and we've got millions of Americans vaccinated. So there's still some science left to do and understand, like if this is going to be like the flu shot and we're going to need it every year, or whether it's going to be more of a one and done. So more to come on that, and as the science evolves.
Okay, great. That makes sense. Let's worry about, first off, getting the vaccines in arms now, right? All right, I'm going to take a moment to do a little AARP self-promotion because I have the mic, I might as well. We have been trying really hard across the country to make sure we're helping states get clear information to our members by setting up our own websites about the vaccine. And I think Connecticut should be commended for transparency on data, for getting the information out there. I know a lot of my colleagues in other states are look enviously upon what Connecticut's done. So kudos to you on that. I'd like to add that at aarp.org/CT vaccine, we're also updating other information. So for instance, we created a nice one-page fact sheet and then translated it into 5 of our more common languages in Connecticut. So anyone could download that and share it with their parishioners or their friends, their community. And we're posting information from the area agencies on aging on transportation options that might be of interest. So I would encourage people who are maybe looking for a little more information that the state can't be responsible for having to provide all the time, check out aarp.org/CT vaccine. And we've even got our volunteers calling out to communities that we're looking at your numbers and seeing them being underserved and making proactive phone calls out right now. So thanks to my volunteers for doing that, trying to make sure people know, sign up now, or you're going to end up in a bigger line later. And folks have been really grateful for that. So I always have to say thank you to my volunteers. With that, as we get to the closing.
In addition to that, if the governor or Josh or somebody could once again give the state phone number or website for additional information on their side.
I'll start. Let me just wrap up. Rizzo Wayne, 877-918-2224. 877-918-2224. Hey, look, to Nora and Danny, thank you so much for getting this organized. Please tell your members how important this is. Get this word out. You've got a few more days, as Josh and Deirdre said, where you can go to that phone number I just gave Wynn, sign up. We've got capacity right now. We have appointments at your local CVS and Walgreens. Take advantage of it. For those of you who have to wait because you're 55 to 64, your wait is over on March 1st, this coming Monday. And you can sign up. I can't mandate common sense, but I can urge you. Everybody's going to sign up at the same time, and you're all going to get frustrated and get mad at the internet. And what I'd urge you to do is just say, hey, look, I telecommute. I don't have to go to the office every day. I'm not front facing. Maybe I can hold off for a week and let somebody else in my age cohort go first. Or damn it, I tested positive 3 weeks ago. I'm feeling good now, but I probably have the antibodies. If you're one of those hundreds of thousands of people, maybe just hold off. You give us a little bit of room to allow those most in need to sign up. But that said, I want you to know we're going to have that open just like we have for the 65 and above, for the 55 and above, long enough for each and every one of you to get that vaccine. And then we move to the next group. As I said before, it only works if you get the shot. So look, on behalf of Deirdre and Josh, who have just been working their heart out to get this rolled out in an appropriate way, please pass the word. It's the right thing to do for you, your family, and your community. Thanks, everybody.